Alright, so this is gonna be a quick video on Mandy and its sort of updated changes. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over it pretty fast because some things have changed. So let's get into it. Alright, so first of all, let me show the model again. Oh, I can't do it like that. Alright, like this. This is essentially the model. Oh, I don't do this anymore. Okay, so I went from curse mark and oh damn. Wait, oh damn, this whole thing is messed up. Alright, so whatever, bro. The whole thing is Mandy. Alright? I don't use curse mark anymore. I don't, whatchamacallit, I don't, bro. Okay. The whole thing is Mandy. I don't use curse mark anymore. I don't use entry triggers. It's just much less probability. So I much prefer to just have this. So, yeah. And I also have two versions. The one where the entry model version were like let me just show it actually I'll go through bias first though. Right, so bias is the same thing as usual. We just follow our market maker model standard deviations. So on Friday, for example, let me move this. Alright, so on Friday, for example, we were following this and we hit max expansion, but we didn't hit -4, and at the same time we had this standard deviation and hit -2 and we started retracing. So we can assume that we're about to go up and hit -4 because -4 is the ultimate standard deviation draw, and we did end up hitting it, and we've also hit it for this. We're also in a reversal cap for these standard deviations. So that was my bias on Friday, just going up. Like here we had a nice retrace into OTE, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, nice retrace into OTE. And my draw was, first of all, my draw was all-time highs. We got a nice soup of that before retracing. And then I wanted -4. So yeah, that was my draw. I still go about ERO, IRO. We sort of hit IRO, not like in the form of a fair value gap. I mean, not, it kind of was, because this wick on ES, we hit the CE and wicks are gaps, and we've hit OTE, so I just assumed that we would go higher, especially with all this like displacement and all that. And following the logic of this retrace standard deviation, I knew we were gonna go higher. So that's like usually how I go about my bias, just standard deviation, ERO, IRO. And for standard deviation, I've updated it. So in my last video, and I used to always say it like this, I used to always need SMT. Like here on these lows, we did not have any SMT. Let me show you real quick. I'm not gonna show you, but we didn't have SMT. So now I just don't need SMT. I mark my standard deviation exactly like boy, just manipulation legs, and I also don't care too much about marking the breaker. I'm just mainly care about marking the manipulation. So like for example, let me look for to see if I have one. Now this one's the breaker. Like it's also just nice manipulation right here, lower. And here, this isn't like, I wouldn't, yeah, this is just pretty bad. But I just think of it as manipulation now. I'm not so zoomed in on the breaker because that would like, that defeats the kind of the whole purpose of the standard deviation, since it has to be a, wait, why am I on there? I think this one might be one. I don't know, let me see. Yeah, no, they're all on the breaker, but it's usually going to be on a breaker, but it doesn't have to be on the breaker. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so I don't need SMT anymore. I just need the manipulation leg to be manipulating something. Like here we hit OTE and then ran, so this was a nice manipulation leg that we followed and respected very nicely. So yeah, and so let me go over the versions of Mandy, like the actual entries. So Mandy v1, it's just the one that I used to have. Let me see if I can find a example here. We're just gonna go off this retouch and this soup right here. It's not in in the thing, but it's whatever. So we hit this 15. We retrace into this 15-minute breaker. So we just go to the 1 minute and we see if we hit equilibrium of the overall range. I would say this is the range. Yeah, this range from this low to this high. And then we hit equilibrium perfectly. We have this soup, 1 minute engineered liquidity, this wake being hit, and we start reacting very nicely. So we just take an entry off this CISD. We get filled right here actually. And then another thing about the entries is my 15-point stop. That's like now a safe stop I have at the point of invalidation. Here I'll just go for 10 points since volatility is so low, and this is just balls deep in pre-market, so I just wouldn't expect that. Then TP usually always is on standard deviation or some form of liquidity. That's like the one I'm most confident in. So here I'll just target this for a nice, not nice, but for a short-term trade. Actually, I would low-key just take it to -4 since I'm bullish, so I know it will get hit. So yeah, that's essentially Mandy V1. You just wait. You mark the breaker of whatever price leg, manipulation, standard deviation, time frame it's on, and whenever we hit the breaker, I go to the 1 minute and see the current equilibrium range be hit, and then entry trigger right after that. So yeah, that's V1. It works. It's like more like an entry model, like inside, like a micro entry model inside the higher time frame breaker. Yeah, it works. I stopped using it a lot though, and well, first let me show you V2, the one that I now use. So for V2, I'm just gonna show you like how I traded on Friday and won. So here we have this 15-minute order block, and this is like the way I want to trade. I just find micro models and take it to my draw. So here my draw, like I said, was all-time highs and -4. And on the 15-minute, I saw us hit this 15-minute order block. And since I'm bullish, I was like, oh yeah, it's time to go. It's time to go. So I went to the 1 minute, and here, let me extend this. Here we formed this breaker like so. We formed this breaker. We can even mark standard deviation. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look how perfect that is. I saw all-time highs here after the standard deviation. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in. So yeah, after the 15-minute order block, let me type it. After the 15-minute order block, I went to the 1 minute for time frame alignment. Then I waited for the breaker, and we went up, and then we went down. Yep. Then we came back into discount and hit the breaker. So now the game plan is just to look for a P array and a discount. So here I like this for value gap. Could have also took this CISD. Oh no, we already hit that CISD, but it's retouch whatever. I don't know. But I just used this 1 minute for value gap, and I saw that we were respecting it nicely. Yeah, we were respecting it. Respect the CE. So I just waited for an entry trigger. I actually don't remember which entry trigger I used, so let's just find out real quick on the journal. No, it was this one. It was. Oh, yeah. Okay. It was this right here. This RB. I chose this RB because this white wick right here hit the gap fill. So I was like, oh, yeah. And we respect it. So I had this RB right here. Took that, limited that thing. And I put my stop loss right here at the point of invalidation. I always do that, invalidation only, because if we go down here, like for example, if we, like in this instance, if we didn't go up and hit TP, and if we went down here, I'm wrong. I'm just straight out wrong. My idea didn't work, and yeah, that would just been a fat L. But yeah, that's why it's always important to put it at the invalidation instead of like being so caught up on the points and the money and all that. Just put it on invalidation, and if you lose, you did something wrong, so you have to learn from it. So yeah. Then I put my TP all time highs right here, 62 points flat, 4.6 R, 4.7 R, and yeah, that's the trade I took. And this is an example of Mandy v2, which is the higher probability one, but Mandy v1 still works. So let me just explain it. So we get our higher time frame level, which is in this case would be this 15-minute order block. Oh yeah, I forgot to explain. We had this micro model standard deviation. Wrong one. We had this micro standard deviation, and on ES we hit -4 and hit true day open, so I knew we would go up. So that was like my big reason for wanting to take this long. And yeah, these 1 minute standard deviations are very good, especially for micro models. Like you can low key just hindsight it. Like here, I saw us hit this order block and we start respecting it, so I just marked this on NQ and ES, which is very key. And I saw that ES was in max expansion, so I was like, oh yeah, it's go time. And this was also pretty good because there was SMT here. This is a SMT leg. Let's see if it reacted off anything, because I don't really remember. Yeah, no, I dragged diddly squat. But there was SMT on that 1 minute high, so I was cool with that. And this is a nice breaker too. Not really clean, but it's whatever. But yeah, this was the SMT high. I don't really care too much about the SMT high. I just marked standard deviation because it's standard deviation. It's the manipulation we got before moving lower into this 15-minute order block level. So that's why I marked that. And yeah, I always need a standard deviation like this to like ping pong kind of. You know what I mean? So yeah, those low time frame standard deviations really help for micro models. And yeah, so Mandy V2 is just getting a a level on a sort of high time frame, like 15 minute to 4 hours, something like that. And then we go on a time frame alignment. So in this case, time frame alignment would be 1 minute, so 1 minute breaker. And then while on the same time frame, when we go back into the breaker, we make sure we hit equilibrium. Like here we interacted with EQ, and we just wait for an entry trigger after a discounted PDA rate is hit. So here we went into discount, and we had this 1 minute FVG as our entry level, and we just took the entry trigger after it was respected, which I did here. And even though we went lower, we wicked into OTE, so that's fine. You know, I'm not going to be the most precise fella of all time. And we put stop loss on invalidation, TP on liquidity or standard deviation or something that's decently high probability, and we cash out. So that's Mandy V2. Yeah, both work, but I just like tend to prefer this one because it like works like way more. You feel me? Let me see the Notion to see if there's anything else I missed. Okay. Um, but yeah, that's essentially it. V1, V2. These actually that's not even bad. Oh yeah, well that's it. Yeah, so that's it for Mandy Refined. I can make a follow-up video if I remember I missed something, but that's essentially it. Bias, ERO, IRO, standard deviation, things of that nature. Order flow is also something I consider. I don't like think about it too hard though. Then, then standard deviation, micro models, or if it's like a reversal, like here, this reversal, I could just take it lower, things of that nature. But I prefer micro models because they work nicely. So yeah, that's the video.